Okie dokie. Virgo, Capricorn, and Aquarius are the only ones that we have left to do before we're going to start over. So let's see what we get. So basically, if we roll any air sign, we're going to be doing Aquarius, okay? And Virgo, it seems like it's destiny. Let me just make sure that we're recording, because that would suck. Virgo, it's your turn. Please check the description box for anything that you need to know regarding your reading, including where you can find out what your sun, moon, rising, Venus sign are. There's a really good free place. Cafe Astrology, I believe, is the place. I've been using it since I was like 18 years old. I'm going to start out with a magnetic poetry for you. Find out any messages for the rest of June into July that you need to hear, Virgo. So get out a pen and a piece of paper if you want. You might also notice that we're doing a different setup here so that you can see the cards, how they're done. I apologize for my nails. They'll be getting done shortly. I've also done a lot of gardening today, so. But, yeah. Again, description box for the things you need to know. There's not much you do need to know. Place where you can help me pay for new decks of cards, etc., etc. Okay. From the magnetic poetry messages for Virgo. Same as Leo. So you might have some Leo in your chart. If they had something about a picture, there is an S. An S. Just makes it so I can sit normally. I need to get a new office chair too, because this one is just not doing it for me. Okay. All right, there you have it. Jot those down. This also gives you the ability to see me shuffle the cards more, see the spreads more. I'm starting out with a past, present, future spread, 6 cards each row. But it helps you to see how I read dignities as well as watch me shuffle the cards instead of my face. Also makes it so that I'm doing more readings because I don't necessarily have to worry about getting camera ready after walking home, after 2 buses, after work, or any of that other stuff. We're going to use the Tattoo Tarot for you. It also helps because, you know, when I do readings on the weekend, when I prefer not to wear makeup, that's another thing. Watch out. These cards are rather large, so I might not bridge them when I shuffle them. I can give it a shot. But anyway. You. Oh yeah, I can bridge them. Well, I can bridge them. It's just a little hard because they're a little bigger. I only take flippers and jumpers a maximum of 3 cards. I'm a little nervous every time that I start out reading after not reading for a bit, but I think more than anything it will be a little bit easier just to do this. Instead of having my face on the camera, you can look at the cards. Okay, perfect. Okay, and twist for fairness. I'm trying to do this like this instead of facing forward because, you know, camera. All right. The Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Past. What was going on in the past? We're looking at right now. We're about to turn into Cancer season. We're right on the cusp. People are starting to celebrate Letha. But Virgo, what do we have for you? Coming into the reading, let's see, energy. What's happened in the past for you recently? Okay. We have the Ace of Swords. There's a truth. There's a truth that you've learned recently. Something that you're highly contemplative of. Something you've been thinking a lot about. Trying to suss out the truth. This is card vomit. We don't take that. But something that you've been trying to suss out as of late. You've come to the realization about truth, or truth was brought to you. We'll find out more. Oh, that one almost slipped. Apologies if we have the shaking of the stuff. I tried to get everything kind of stable. And I do have a sturdy desk, but I tend to lean my elbows on the desk. Again, I think that's another reason I need to get a new chair. Is because this one doesn't have all the awesome bells and whistles where I can set it up properly. It constantly throws me forward. Anyway. I don't know why I've been talking about ergonomics during your spread. It might be something that is important for you at this time is ergonomics. Okay, so we have the Seven of Cups. See, Seven of Cups. In the reverse, there's a realization here that there's like a truth about choice, or about no longer having options when it comes to an emotional connection, or that there never was any other option. Like the choice should have been obvious. All the other cups are falling away. Like the choice, there was always only one choice. I don't necessarily know that this is romantic. It can also be about friendship. It can be about family. Not necessarily overt in its meaning just yet. But I always like to think of the Seven of Cups as if it's kind of like, if you think about Indiana Jones, I don't remember if it's Holy Grail or which one I think it is. But you know the one where, the cups, and he finally gets to where all the cups are, and Indiana Jones has to find the cup that is the right one, and the rich dude and his hot, arm candy is there. And he's like, here, you choose the cup. And she goes, he's like, so he's the evil guy. And he's like, not so fast. And he has his hot girlfriend or whatever go to choose the cup. And she chooses this gorgeous, beautiful cup. And he goes to take a sip from it. And then his face melts off, because it's the wrong choice. In the upright, this is always the cautionary tale of that. That all that glitters is not gold, building castles in the sky. The truth of the matter here for you seems to be that you've come to the realization of that, and that there never was any other choice. The choice is always obvious. You're almost like hitting yourself in the head, like, Jesus, how did I not realize? In terms of a connection, an emotionally charged connection, or something that's near and dear to your heart in some way. I saw the Ten of Cups as I was shuffling here out of the corner of my eye. I don't know. I don't necessarily like to put like this romanticized spin on things, right? This does have to do with work. It could be a fond connection, as if there can be only one. I just heard there can be only one. And it's got to do with honing your craft also. Something that has to do with work or is connected to your work in the recent past. About the connections that you forge and how there is no other option, that the emotional connections that you have chosen are a part of your truth. It's connected to your vocation, or connected to apprenticing energy, or it's not necessarily always apprenticing energy. It's about mastering one's craft, putting in the hard work in order to become something of a success, right? The time, energy, and effort that it takes to really become a skilled worker. Skilled at something, right? What else in the recent past for you, Virgo? Sun. And it's funny because Virgo is extremely analytical. They're perfectionist. So I can see, you see how this person has the circle maker, and it's got the pencil on it there. If you want to zoom in, you can see it. But this person's got the the compass, thank you, the compass, and they're building this new pentacle here, and there's precision involved in the artistry. So I find that very Virgoan, if you will, right? Just the precision in the craftsmanship there. There's truth in this. There's truth in the relationships that you've forged, and the people that you've chosen to surround yourself with have helped you to hone your craft, to become a master in one's vocation, or in one's career, walking towards legacy. The Magician, and again here we see where there's self-mastery involved in all of this with the Magician, Virgo, and it's a connectedness with the self when somebody does this, perfectly in tune with one's work and in tune with oneself. And I find it interesting, if you look here at this card, that we're seeing this from the perspective of the worker's bench and the pentacles here and the study that's involved. There's even a protractor here. I was going to say protractor, and I didn't even notice the protractor sitting here. But this person's got the pencil behind their ears. Jesus, didn't I just say that for Leo? At the end of the reading, I was talking about that. Somebody with a pencil behind their ear. You'll have to check back. You might be a Virgo Leo cusp individual, because I did say that. Watch their reading. But the Magician, oftentimes you'll see him, he's got the Magician's bench, and he's mastering all of the elements because he has mastered the self. You know, manifestation, that magic buzzword, isn't necessarily about anything more than action after, you know, mastering the self, being able to exercise self-discipline and understand oneself to the extent that a person even moves in artistry, right? So when somebody has gotten to the point where they can make something out of nothing, where they can take their own energy and enact something into the real world, you see it here. You see it here as well. That it was through hard work and dedication that this happened. All right? I don't know. That's kind of the word I'm getting there. And there is truth in this. You know, I was just saying, I was going to say it, but then I looked back here and I was like, oh yeah, there's truth in this, right? Duh. There's truth in it. What else in the recent past for you, Virgo? That's too many. We did have these ones stick. When that happens, if you didn't know, that's why we choose to keep certain cards and not keep certain, at least me. That's why I choose to keep certain cards and not keep others. Hope these are, oh, sorry for the loud noise. So moving forward, we then move on from the self-mastery of this card, the Magician, and from honing one's craft, which also takes a form of self-mastery, mastering an art form that one has dedicated their time and their effort to over a number of years, probably. On to the Nine of Pentacles here. I love how tarot is often cohesive if you really know how to read it, right? So the Nine of Pentacles, where now there is a self-reliance that has been built, and independence, where there's confidence now in one's abilities to create abundance. An abundance of energy, an abundance of material wealth, but also an abundance of tangible energy, like a building of something in the tangible plane, where one can see all of the like it's almost as if like, and I know that there are a lot of readers out there who say this, the garden of one's own making, But when somebody is sitting in that garden, they can see the energy and effort and the fruits of their labor and everything that they've built around themselves. So you can actually see where if somebody who was a master builder learned how to create the house, and where they learned how to build the foundation, and they mastered how to mix cement, and they understood bricklaying, and they, got into carpentry, and now they have the fence and the arbor, and then the gardening happened, and now they have trees and fruit trees, and they have everything that they can eat in their garden, and like just that kind of stuff, right? But it's the independence that one has as a result of that, the self-sufficiency, the ability to rely on oneself to create time, free up time, to spend time as they please, and also expend and it's here, expend and conserve effort of their own will, With that, we have something different here. We have the Temperance card in the reverse. There's like an impatience, or I don't understand why there would be impatience attached to this. Unless we were saying that somebody's getting frustrated here. It's almost as if they have no problem putting in the effort, but they're getting impatient with not having this result. This 9 of Pentacles result. So in this regard, I would say that these two are kind of attached to each other. Sagittarian energy. Timings for me, when I have cards in reverse that have their own zodiac archetype, we like to flip it on the wheel and say, now this is a Gemini. Temperance being Sagittarius, opposite on the zodiac is Gemini, so Gemini season. So very recent past, because we're just ending Gemini season now. But what you see here is you see that this person is working hard. It's almost as if the effort that is being put in here now there's such a heavy effort being put in because somebody is impatiently waiting for the fruition. Waiting for something to come to fruition that has this atmosphere of I am independent, I am self-reliant, I make my own time, I make my own energy. I am the master of that domain. I can spend freely. I can use my time as I wish, that kind of a thing. And there's an impatience attached to that. There's also a feeling as if this is absolution that'll heal somebody, which isn't true. Somebody thinks like once I reach this finish line, then I'll be healed, but that's not the case. Because this is not healing. This is cancel the healing out of the Temperance card, because Temperance card is healing. But in the reverse, it would be not healing necessarily, right? Just think of it like this. If you want to, Tarot 101, the opposite meaning of a card when you have it in the reverse, right? But again, let's modify the meaning because it's attached to this. Like having all the time in the world and having all of the resources in the world isn't necessarily going to be indicative of healing, or it's not going to equate to healing. It's not going to it's not going to equal absolution. Yeah. In the present for you, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay. Shrine card in the reverse, Leo energy. Something during Aquarius season that you're thinking about at this time. Yeah, something in Aquarius season that you're thinking about during this time. A lack of courage. There could be a part of this truth that you've realized that in the past you lack the courage to admit your choices when it came to your connections, or that you you shied away, or you didn't feel brave enough to admit what your choice was of an emotional nature. Could also be that you lost your temper when it came to the realization of a truth connected to your emotional connections and having made the choice of an emotional connection. This can also be a Leo living in shadow aspect that you're encountering right now. Somebody who isn't a courageous individual, but also somebody who needs the spotlight to the point where it singes. like an attention whore, you know? The truth, realizing the truth is that you chose an attention whore. Realizing the truth that there is an aspect of somebody that is seeking fame and attention that you chose. You know? I don't know. We'll see. Tell me more. What else for Virgo? You're thinking heavily on this. There could also be, I'm just getting it like a feeling like where you're thinking about the losing your temper, and what was you're picking apart and analyzing what was the truth, what was the true motive behind losing your temper with somebody, or somebody else losing their temper with you. What did it really mean? I'm also hearing, it's like, then the truth came out that somebody was really, I knew what their choice really was. That kind of thing. I don't know what that is, but I'm getting it, you know? Okay. Okay, Queen of Wands, you know, somebody chose an Aries individual. The choice was an Aries individual. Out of all the options emotionally that somebody had, there was an Aries individual. Leadership energy sometimes can be the other woman. I would only say that if I saw surrounding cards that kind of indicated that, though. Could be also some leadership development happening. Learning how to be a gregarious leader, somebody who's very confident, a warm leader, but also somebody who takes the reins in and does so from a place of like they preside over things with dominant, confident energy, you know, and people want to follow someone because of that. It's almost as if there's a feeling as if somebody understands that the truth is that you can either be A or B. And rather than being somebody who lacks courage and has a poor temper and cannot control the inner beast, the true choice should be that you're with somebody who's confident enough in themselves, that they kind of take the reins on things and that they stand independently. There's truth about that. Somebody who's putting energy into, creating something for their own, and putting their time and energy and effort into something of worth. Focused on their own career craft, goals, ambitions. Could be some frustration over this individual. And again, remember I was saying there's like a cerebral energy here. Why am I angry about these aspects? What is it that makes me angry? Maybe there's jealousy here that somebody else was chosen because they embodied these confident and nurturing qualities, while this other individual seemed to have a temper and embody jealousy and always want to have a lot of attention, focus on them. Let's see what else. You know, fire warms, fire burns. The fire that warms rather than the fire that burns. What else? Virgo, in the present. Okay. Whoa. Everything wanted to come tumbling out. Okay, the Five of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, somebody who wanted to feel... so there's gratitude here. Somebody that wanted to... Somebody that was able to confidently express their gratitude because they had worked... they had put the energy and effort into honing their craft. There's something to do with expression. When it comes to this thing that somebody works on. I don't know if it's you or somebody else. But it's the ability to exercise gratitude and then express that gratitude. There's a piece of how somebody has put in a lot of energy, effort, and study into it. And they can create something out of nothing. They take the lead on exercising gratitude or are using gratitude exercises as a part of their leadership journey. This is somebody who meditates a lot. This individual, I'm seeing a line here connected to an emotional. It's an emotional connection that you chose to participate in, and there's truth attached to it. But I'm seeing a line here where this person meditates. There's meditation on manifestation as well as gratitude and abundance. This person is a very nurturing individual who is putting in a lot of work on the self, but also there's a lot of determined, passionate energy towards building skill. What else? Tell me more. Okay. Oh, I just heard St. Elmo's fire. That's not like, it doesn't make any sense in terms of this card, but I heard it when the card came down, St. Elmo's fire. I'm going to look that song up when, I'm just going to jot that down. St. Elmo's fire. Isn't that a song? It's not just a song. I know it's like a show, but I think it's also, a song, St. Elmo's fire. Anyway, this Seven of Wands. There's a protecting one's heart here. Somebody is extremely defensive. They're trying to protect their heart. These meditation practices, it's almost as if they build themselves up. This is like a tiny fortress around them to ward off the people with the sticks from the village, the mob from the village that's coming to get them. Traditionally, Rider-Waite, you would see somebody up on a hill and they have all the, townspeople below that are, I'm going to get you. You know what I mean? They've got their own stick where they can fight off all the other people with the sticks that are trying to get them. It's almost as if this person is using all of these things as defense mechanisms. If I build up my career, if I work on mastering the self, if I build up manifestation techniques, learn everything I can from that side of things, learn how to master myself, learn how to master the elements, master my craft, and master the art of gratitude and abundance. I can defend myself against all of those who mean to hurt me, or all of those who I perceive as threats. Thank you. St. Elmo's fire. I don't know why that comes out. I'll have to look it up afterwards. It'll probably make more sense then. I think it's this person. It comes from a space of, obviously, comes from a space of deep-seated insecurity. So they feel like if they do all these things to enrich themselves, then they'll be enough. It's a scarcity mindset that they're trying to heal. At least they're trying to do that work. But they think if they reach this point, then they'll be healed, but they won't. There's another truth here that's not quite. I don't think this is you. Like, that's what I'm saying. I don't think this is you. It's somebody that you've chosen to surround yourself with. Somebody that you're connected with on an emotional level. This kind of also, this kind of reminds me of, if we turn it upside down, or the right side up rather, this kind of reminds me of Dita Von Teese when she's sitting in that martini glass. In a way. I don't know why. It's a belly dancer, so it's not, but, you know. Anyway. Tell me more. Okay. Yeah, there's you're of two minds. You have two minds on something. Do I spend my time or do I spend my money? Do I spend my effort or do I spend my time? Well, time is effort. That's not the same thing. There's something about dichotomous energy. Which thing do I spend my time or energy or effort or money on? Or how do I invest? What do I invest in? Not necessarily not monetary investment, but like, where am I putting my energy? This is divided energy, and being of two minds, it's like a balancing act, or like somebody cannot make a decision in between two energies, not two people, two energies. And I always say with this card, as long as somebody is ambiguous with the universe will be ambiguous with them. So this is a caution during the present, where there needs to be a decision made about where one wants to invest their energy more. On the self-mastery piece, on manifesting things in the real world out of nothing, materializing things out of thin air, because somebody has that magic within themselves to do so, or is it about tangible boots on the ground? I've put in my time and my energy and my efforts and my money into something, and so, you know, it kind of seems like one of those types of things, but it's like of two minds. Tell me more. In the present, Virgo. Again, like this cerebral energy is if somebody's like overthinking the choice in between two different things, where like, and it's like divided energy, but as long as your energy is divided, you can't really necessarily make one thing or the other happen. And it's almost like immediately upon thinking about it, you do eventually iron out the wrinkles and figure out a direction. You do pick a direction. No longer at a crossroads or stalemate. No longer with the stagnant energy. This person eventually drops the swords, takes off the blindfold, unfolds their hands, and chooses one of the two forks in the road because of their impatience alone. This is the choosing the direction as a result of getting sick and tired of waiting. You know, that's what this tells me. Of two minds, not quite sure. The energy is divided, and there just seems to be like a balancing act, although very graceful. And then at some point, it's like, oh, F this. I have to kind of pick a direction because I'm sick and tired of waiting for something to happen. So, pick a direction. stop living in willful ignorance, or I guess willful blindness, you know, and move forward. So that's what's happening here. Tell me in the future for you, Virgo. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have? Okay, I had a rule of 3, a 1, and a 2, and a 3. Okay, well, I did say the 10 of Cups. I saw out of the corner of my eye at one point. I mean, 18 cards out of 78. There is a little bit more probability it would come out. But we have, moving forward, a 7. This one reminds me of a lemon tree. 7, well, I have a lemon tree growing that kind of looks like this. It just doesn't have the gold on it. 7 of Pentacles with our 6 of, hallelujah, 6 of Wands and the 10 of Cups. Okay, cool. So good news, Virgo. Seems like for all of the analytics that you had practiced here and all of this here, although I do think there's somebody here who has their own mindset here, growth mindset. Ah, thank you. You know, eventually a girl gets there. Growth mindset. This is a growth mindset, this line that I was telling you about. But you got your own shit going on that's kind of similar. You've got investment happening, tangible investment, putting your time and energy and effort and even your monetary resources to work so that you can start to see some low-hanging fruit happening, where you can finally see some of your efforts paying off. This is also a harbinger of, well, you know, it is what you put into it. So you might actually see the reap what you sow cliche happening in the real world. You might see that happening for whoever's lost their temper or act out a cowardice in the present. In the future, you're going to see them reap what they've sown. Also a warning for you about losing your temper in the present, or being this, you know, attention monger, etc., etc., about what you sow ye shall reap, right? I do see some, well, not some, I see some major victory in the emotional realm. There's a happy home life here. I think it's great that these guys have the tattoos. I mean, it is the tattoo tarot, but somebody's got knuckle tattoos. But there's a happy home life happening here at the end of everything, a winning out, a victory of sorts. As a result of the investment that was put in, there was time and energy and effort spent, and investment. Small investment, it's still a 7, but there were seeds planted, and those seeds that were planted along the way resulted in a victory of sorts. This is typically depicted in the Rider-Waite as the guy riding in to town on his horse, waving the victory banners, and the townspeople being like, fuck yeah, you did it, woo, that kind of thing. But 6 of Wands here for you. In the future, this is and adjoined to the 10 of Cups, it is a victory on the home front. A winning out, the zenith of emotional fulfillment when it comes to a happy home life. The house, the picket fence, you know, in the mountains with the rainbow, and your wishes are granted here. I hear that wishes are granted, because if you look, we've got those you know, those dandelion things where you blow on them and all the wishes go up into the, you know, into the ether. She's wearing her cute little frilly nightdress, and he's got his flannel on. He's getting his flannel on. Anyway, there's still a feeling as if it's something that you need to protect. I see that in the future, so be careful of that. There might be an overprotectiveness or a defensiveness attached to this. As if, you know, you're the Rottweiler trying to protect everything from getting smashed to bits, because it seems too good to be true. You're very grateful for it. But it seems as if you want to protect it. Tell me more. You might want to build a moat around your cute little house, and instead of the picket fence, get a moat. Maybe. I mean, a moat wouldn't be so bad. It's kind of old-fashioned and cool. You can't, it's not like we can put like piranhas around it or anything like that. This one's staying, but let's look this here. Okay, so the death card. This is a never-ending circle for you. This defensiveness is like a merry-go-round of crazy. This is something that you continuously, it's like bang your head against the wall, see if it still hurts. The death card in the reverse, Scorpio energy on this, but, you know, we could also say that it's Taurus energy because it's in the reverse. It's Taurus for timing. We also have it beside a Taurus card, King of Pentacles, but in the reverse, so Taurus acting in its shadow aspect. And we can see that definitely here with the Seven of Wands, where somebody could be living in dichotomous energy, which is interesting, with this Taurus individuals also being very insecure and overprotective to the point of jealousy, territorial possessiveness over the home space that they've created with somebody. This is a vicious cycle. This is something that hasn't transformed, has not ended in previous iterations of life. This is something of a cycle that needs to be broken, what we see here with the death card in the reverse. Because the King of Pentacles is somebody who creates this warm hearth and home environment for the people that they love. They're a great provider and stuff, but the problem is that there's been no movement forward. It's just a constant backwards counterclockwise thing happening here with this energy. About protecting one's heart space to the point of beating yourself over the head. It's like I said, banging your head against the wall, see if it still hurts. Bang yourself over the head with the same stick that you always had and see if it still hurts, right? You're grateful for it, but you understand that it could leave at any second. You're threatened by that. It's like you win, but... oh, yeah, thank you. It's like foreboding joy, they call it. Foreboding joy. It's like, you know, you imagine the worst thing possible happening because things are finally going well. Yeah. And the antidote to foreboding joy is gratitude. Ah. Oh my God, we've come full circle. Okay, Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus in the future. Lastly, what do we have? Seems like this is just totally full of, like, you know, self-development for you in the beginning of the summer here. Yeah. Now we have the Four of Wands. Yeah, it's a realization that in order to move forward, you have to pick a direction, and the direction that you're picking is to continue to maintain firm foundations within your home space. To continue to hold up the four walls of the home. To continue to nurture the four posts of the marriage bed with this Four of Wands. But to also continue to uphold the beauty and the stability of the home space. Because here's the thing, acting in the shadow self and being this possessive, overprotective Taurus energy isn't reliable because it's volatile. And it isn't stable. It doesn't offer a stable environment because it says that if somebody might, if one individual believes that they must be overtly protective, that potentially they don't believe in the stability of the home. And if they don't believe in the stability of the home, how can they create a stable environment or participate in a stable environment, right? There is victory here. The foundations have been laid. The seeds have been planted. Don't go back to old cycles. That's what this is really warning of here. Okay, let's see what signs and symbols and synchronicities and things during June into July you can come to expect to know that you're on the right path, Virgo. We're using, I believe this is the Purple Love Dreams Oracle by Rose DeReb out of New York. I got this during the pandemic. And I got a bunch of, I started to like really enrich my tarot collection with a lot of oracle decks during that time. So let's see what we have. One more. Okie dokie. What can we find for Virgo to look out for? What do we have? Show us. Okay. There's one. Game. There's a game or a gamer. Especially if you look here. You can zoom in if you want, but seeing this as not necessarily just like board games, but seeing this as like online gaming. So something that you're going to encounter in an online game, or while playing a board game, or thank you, the realization that life is just a game. I mean, it's a pretty serious game, but it's, you know, the playfulness, the playful side of life. And maybe even bringing that into other people's lives, you know. And the idea of, you know, not to be so serious all the time. The balloons. Okay, so balloons, balloon animals. Yeah, like seeing, I'm actually like kind of seeing like the visualization of a single balloon floating, kind of like somebody forgot, like lost one, and it's kind of floating in the sky, separate and independent from everything else. You might see that. Oh, Oriental fan. Somebody might be feeling like super hot and they don't have a fan, so they're like using their hand to fan themselves. That could be another piece of imagery for you. Okie dokie. That's what I've got for you, Virgo. Sorry for the talkativeness. It kind of happens sometimes when I have really great cards to work with. The imagery is so amazing in these cards, right? And when you get a really great deck of cards, that happens. Well, I almost knocked the card off. Okay, all right, well, we'll see when we see you next. Do this if this made sense to you. And, yeah. All right, cool. Okay. Bye.